Hi everyone, we're going to officially get started. So on behalf of Diversity Abroad and the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and for being a part of today's webinar. My name is Trixie. I'm the Associate Director at Diversity Abroad, and I'm excited to be joined today with two representatives from Hebrew University, Shahar and Carrie, who will be sharing some details a little later on in today's webinar about what you can expect as a student at Hebrew University. And I'll also be going over the scholarship details that we have with our brand new joint scholarship, the Diversity Abroad Israel Scholarship. So we'll be talking to you about the summer and fall opportunities that you can look forward to applying to this year. Before we officially get started, I just want to share some housekeeping items with regards to the GoToWebinar tool. For those of you that are using this for the first time, just note that we are recording. So if you missed a question or if you want to go back and take better notes a second time around, you will all get a recording of today's webinar. And you also have the ability to interact with us live. So this is a tool where you can pose questions. You can raise your hand if you want to, if we ask you certain questions. And so you have some of those opportunities to do so within the GoToWebinar panel. We will have time for questions at the end, but you can go ahead and type your questions into the question box at any time, and then we'll do our best to get to them either if they are pertinent to the slide as they come up, or at the end of the slideshow, just to make sure we don't miss any questions that you all had. So with that, I'm going to move on to the next slide to show you guys what the agenda is for today's webinar. It will be about an hour or so. So I've introduced myself to you a little bit, but I'll tell you a little bit more about who I am and the work that I do, as well as a little bit more about Diversity Abroad. After that, I will pass it over to my colleagues from Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and they'll both introduce themselves as well as tell you more about what to expect, what campus life is like in Hebrew University, what life is like in Israel, the accommodations, the student life, just to get you more familiar with what it will be like if you were to choose to pursue a summer or a semester program through them. After that, I'll go back to going through the different materials and resources that you will need to know about the Diversity Abroad Israel Scholarship specifically. So what do the applications include? How many are there, and for how much are they? This is a brand new opportunity, and we're really looking forward to telling you all about this unique opportunity to go to Israel. After that, we will share even more tips so that if you are still concerned about funding and how to write a strong scholarship application, we certainly don't want that to be the reason that you don't decide to pursue an experience overseas. So we'll give you some of our insider tips about what to do, where to find some additional funding resources through your school or through your communities, as well as additional funding that is available through Hebrew University and Rothberg International School specifically. After that, we'll tell you about some specific dates you should keep in mind for applications, as well as give you contact details about who you can reach out to among our staff in providing you additional support with the applications. So with that, we're going to move on. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Diversity Abroad. If you all don't mind, can you raise your hand if you've heard about Diversity Abroad before today? And you should have a little hand icon next to your name. Okay, so it looks like some have heard of us. If you haven't heard of us, that's totally okay too. I'm going to take a few minutes now to just tell you a little bit more about who we are and what we do. So I'm going to go to the next slide. So Diversity Abroad is an organization that this past year just celebrated 10 years as an organization. So we started in 2006 as a student website, diversityabroad.com, and it was a place where our president, his name is Andrew Gordon, it's a place where he started for students from underrepresented communities to go and find out about more resources in order to go abroad. So as a study abroad student himself, as a person of color, he realized, oh, there's not a lot of students that look like me that have access to this opportunity, and I really want to change that. So that was essentially why he started the organization. Again, that was 10 years ago, and it's since grown into a much bigger organization that provides both student resources as well as resources for advisors and other professional staff that want to develop more inclusive practices. So when we define diversity within diversity abroad, it really is much broader than I think most people might consider. Of course, we include in that racial ethnic diversity, but when we say who is underrepresented, we also include students that just don't typically study abroad at all. And that can include students such as students within the LGBTQ community, students of different religious faiths, students that are STEM majors, male students. There are a lot of different underrepresented student groups. And so we've defined that term really broadly. And we try to create resources that reflect that diversity in the definition as well. So if you ever go to diversityabroad.com, or if you haven't yet, you can certainly review that we have a ton of how-to resource guides. So if you've never been on a plane, let alone to another country, we have resource guides just to help you understand what that process is like and what study abroad really is. If you're looking for scholarships, obviously we have a scholarships portal through where you can see not only the scholarship that we have with Hebrew University, but that we have in partnership with other organizations as well. We have an Alumni Story section. So if you're looking to hear directly from other students who have already studied abroad, that's a great resource because you can hear directly from them about how they funded it, how long they went, what they learned from that experience. And they're a really great voice of reason to highlight why this is something you should definitely try to pursue while you're still in school. And we also have articles that talk about how to take advantage of your time abroad and how to leverage your experiences overseas in order to advance in your career. So it's really a great resource, and we definitely encourage you to check it out. I'll make sure in this chat box to link you directly to our website so you can learn more about us. I previously also mentioned that we have professional resources. I mean, that's more for study abroad advisors and people working at your schools. Because again, we want to know that not only are we providing you with the tools to be successful, but that we're also doing what we can to provide additional support to some of the professionals who are working closely with you as you apply for programs and scholarships and things of that nature. So if you ever have questions about diversity abroad or some of our scholarships, please feel free to reach out to me. You all should have my email address. But for now, I'm going to turn it over to our colleagues from Hebrew University, who will introduce themselves to you and will also tell you more specifically about what you can expect as a student in Israel. Shahar.
Thank you, Trixie. My name is Shachar Yanai. I'm in charge of the long-term study abroad programs at the Hebrew University. The Hebrew University programs for international students are housed at the Rothberg International School. And the Rothberg International School itself has all kinds of academic programs, not only study abroad. We'll talk about that a little more. Together with me today is Carrie Rosenblum. She represents us at our office in New York, and she's usually the person that you'll be in touch with regarding everything that is connected to admissions and funding. So I'll move on and tell you a little bit about Jerusalem. It's always a question when you choose a study abroad destination, what are the considerations? Sometimes the considerations are the location, and the location here is amazing. Jerusalem is a city that has almost everything for everyone, and it is, if we're talking about diversity, it is diverse in almost every aspect. It's a meeting place of tradition and innovation. It's the meeting place of spirituality and politics, East and West, Jews and Arabs, secularity and religion. I don't know if you're all aware of that, but Jerusalem is one of the holiest places for the three monotheistic religions, the Muslims, the Christians, and the Jews. It is the capital of Israel, but almost 35% of its inhabitants, of its residents, are Arab Israelis or Palestinians. We won't go into this politics right now. You'll figure it out as you go. It's a colorful city. It's a city that has young people and old people. It's a city that you can find almost anything that is fun, interesting, and deep. So and almost any sort of line of interest would be, I think, suitable. And I think I don't have to say much more about it. The moment you'll experience it, you will understand. So something about a couple of fast facts about the Hebrew University. The Hebrew University was established in 1925. So it's in Israeli terms, it's pretty old. I know that American university are a bit older. The city itself is 3,000 years old, so you might say that the university is new. It's Israel's #1 university. It has 23,000 students on 4 different campuses. It's consistently ranked among the top 100 universities in the world. In some fields, we are at the top 10. In some fields, we are at the top 20. So it's a very, very strong university academically. As I said, our international students are housed at the Rothberg International School. That was founded over 60 years ago. So that's the years of experience we have with international students. To date, you'll get about 2,500 international students every year at the Rothberg International Schools from 90 different countries. So that would comprise the Rothberg International School, and you can add on top of that thousands of Israeli students that are all there and are very eager to contact and be in touch with international students. So really diverse and multicultural community. Carrie, if you want to add anything, just unmute yourself and you can stop me and add if anything else. Let's talk a little bit about the housing and the facilities. So there's a brand new, well, it's not a brand new, but a pretty new student village where all the students, not only the international students, most of the Hebrew University students are housed. It's right next to the Mount Scopus campus. It's every student has his own or her own private room, and they're very, I would say, is well suited for students. These are all in shared apartments, so you'll have your own kitchen space or a shared kitchen space, shared bathrooms, but you'll have your own privacy in your room with Wi-Fi access and free membership to the sports complex of the university that has a swimming pool and all of the brand new stuff that you need for working out. I sometimes joke about it that whenever I take visitors there, I find so many students there that I'm not sure if they're studying or they've come to Jerusalem to work out. A beautiful swimming pool, tennis courts, everything is there. 5-minute walk from the campus. So I know that, we always think about an academic program, we think about the courses, the majors, how it will build my career, but actually going abroad is going for an experience. And to make that experience meaningful and something that you won't forget, we have a student life office that provides all of the services that are beyond the academics. So there'll be local counselors showing you around and taking you to all kinds of activities. We have a whole week of orientation. You have your own academic advisor helping you to work out your curriculum so it will fit the requirements. Once you go back, you'll get all your credits approved. We have a 24-hour emergency helpline. We have psychologists for students that might, get into some difficulties with culture shock and stuff like that. And of course, just tons of trips, cultural activities, parties, and everything that will help you get immersed in Israel and in Jerusalem and not, just stay all day in the classroom and in the school. So that's our goal. Our goal is to give you a full experience. So now I'm moving into the academic programs. Carrie, if you have anything you want to say before I go into academics, now is the time.
I think, hi everybody, just chiming in for a sec. I think that the only thing I might add regarding the Office of Student Life is that if you're coming for a semester-long program, these trips and activities are part and parcel with your tuition package. So it's not something you need to pay for out of pocket as you go. Rather, that experience, all the social life that accompanies, all the extracurricular stuff that accompanies your academics is really woven into your tuition package and your experience. That's an amazing.
Okay, so I have no idea how many of the attendees in this webinar are looking for summer programs and how many are looking for full semester programs. So we'll showcase both and just, hold tight if it's not exactly what you're looking for. You never know, you might find some interest in something that you hadn't planned in advance. So the summer programs, they start pretty soon. The first session is on July 3rd, and the second session is on July 28th. You can, of course, take both sessions. You don't have to take only one. Courses are 45 to 60 academic hours, 3 to 4 credits, and classes meet 3 days a week, 3 hours a day. Most students, they take 2 courses because they want to make the most out of their program, but students that are staying for both sessions can, of course, take more than that. The classes of summer programs are not your typical academic class, the one that you know from your university. There's a lot of experiential learning, field trips, guest speakers that are experts in those specific fields, workshops, and just a lot of going out there and getting a feel of the material that you are learning, of the subject matters. The fields of interest, courses that we offer in the summer are, and you can read them, Israel related, Middle East, politics, history, sociology, environment, urban studies, law and conflict studies, religion, archaeology, language. I just want to emphasize the Arabic studies. Anyone that really wants to get going with his Arabic or improve her Arabic, this is the time. And science and innovation, there are many lab opportunities, and just go to the website and you can see that. Of course, everything, there's on-campus housing, and you get all of the social services that I mentioned before. Carrie, anything to add about summer programs?
Yes, one thing that I'll add is that the details regarding classes meeting 3 days a week for 3 hours a day pertains only to specialized summer courses and does not reflect what you'll be doing if you come to study a language intensively with us, be it modern Hebrew, biblical Hebrew, or Arabic. If you're enrolled in one of our summer language programs, you're essentially going to be meeting every day for about 6 hours a day, studying very intensively, a couple of hours. Your schedule is going to be different than what's reflected here in these 4 points. One thing that Trixie has gone ahead and done is she's uploaded a PDF for you that houses all of the information that you could possibly want regarding both. It's a 2-pager, so you can print it out easily. Don't waste your colored ink. You can print it in black and white. And you'll see there that there are details regarding both the language courses and the summer courses and special programs. Back to you.
Okay, so I hope not everyone is now opening their handouts because you won't see the next slide. Um, I'll talk a little bit about our full semester program. We have a fall and a spring semester. You can choose to take either fall or spring, or you can take the whole year. The structure of the full semester program is that it starts with a pre-semester language study intensive course that's 4 weeks. It's 5 credits, and there's an Arabic option available for absolute beginners. So if you're an absolute beginner in Arabic and that's sort of your line of interest, that's also available. We believe that this pre-semester language is very, very important to get along afterwards, just in the city, in life in Israel. It gives you access to people, to culture, so it's very, very important. And students that have gone to other universities and have not taken that have regretted it because they felt that they missed something about the engagement. The semester itself is comprised of language studies, which are 6 credits. Again, you can choose between Arabic and Hebrew, and 9 elective credits. These are three credit courses, and they are almost in any field. I just mentioned a couple: humanities, social science, law, business. But basically, I would say visit the website link, and if you can't find the course that is a requirement for your study abroad, call us and we'll find a solution. There's hundreds of courses taught in English at the university. The ones that we put down in our website are the ones that are taught at the Rothberg International School, but there's many, many options in other faculties, and just talk to us before you make your decision. I want to highlight 2 more things. One is internships. We provide internships that are very intensive and serious. If you want to build your career, you can certainly apply for an internship and spend time and also get credits for the internship. There are independent study options. Someone is interested, I don't know, in the expression of street art in religion. So we don't have a course about that, but she can certainly opt for an independent study and then do her own research with the local supervisor that would then grade her project or paper. So that's available also. We have a couple of special programs. These are programs in collaboration with the Arts Institutes and programs in languages. The Arabic Immersion program is a program that focuses solely on learning Arabic, both spoken and written Arabic. And this is for students that are coming with a very focused mindset. Dance Jerusalem is a program for dancers. It's in collaboration with the Jerusalem Academy of Dance and Music. This is an actual photo of the dancers in the program. It's been running for a couple of years, very, very successful program. You spend most of your time dancing, but you do take 2 courses at the Rothberg International School to get acquainted with Israel and to get some academic credits in just regular academic studies. Jerusalem Sounds is a similar program for musicians, also in collaboration with the Jerusalem Academy of Dance and Music. Art Jerusalem is a program for artists that is in collaboration with the best art school in Israel. It's called Betzalel, and it's just next to the Rothberg International School. And here students can choose the level of intensity of art and the level of intensity of regular courses, and just sign in. If you are interested in an intensive art program, you might have to present a portfolio of art works that you've done in the past in order to be accepted. By the way, Jerusalem, the Dance Jerusalem, Jerusalem Sounds, and Art Jerusalem all require some kind of display of your talent and skill. There's not, you can't just automatically get into the program. So you need some background. In Art Jerusalem, if you do decide just to try out 1 or 2 courses in arts, that's also possible. Diversity and coexistence. Diversity and Coexistence is a new program that is a collaboration with IFSA Butler. This is a study abroad provider. It's a program for students that are looking into conflict studies and are looking to create an extensive background in that. So these are the special programs. We have some track record with some leading dance departments in Dance Jerusalem. So I just got a message from one of our partners saying that the students love the Dance Jerusalem program. If I can mention where it's from, let me know and I'll say. Okay, so just a couple of technical notes. Eligibility. Most of our programs are for students that have completed one full year of study at a university, a minimum of 3.0 GPA, and of course, a high level of proficiency in English, because you're going to take all of your courses in English. Just saying that the compliments we got for the Dance Jerusalem were from Rutgers University. Hooray, thanks a lot, Rutgers. And the application process is pretty straightforward. You'll go to our website and you'll find where to apply and just follow the guidelines. It's not very difficult. By the way, if you do not have a 3.0, you can appeal or petition, sorry, and we'll see if there's a good reason to accept. Application deadlines. For the summer, it's May 15, and for the fall, it's very, very close. It's May 31st. For the scholarships themselves, you can see the deadlines May 31st and June 15th. So there's still some time, but these applications, they don't take a minute. You know, it takes time to process them. It takes time for you to get all of the paperwork. So we recommend that you start working as soon as possible, especially if you want to get the scholarships. Then it's good to be accepted to the program to get the scholarships.
Shachar, I'll just chime in for 1 second again. This is
Okay.
Shelley. As Shachar mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, the Rothberg International School has a national office that's based in New York. And our office will be the office that the undergraduate or semester or year-long applicants will submit their application materials to, will call for support or questions with regard to their applications. We also offer all the support that you can need to summer applicants, though the admissions decisions are handled directly in Jerusalem. So ultimately your letter of acceptance will come from Jerusalem and not via New York. But you are most welcome to submit all your materials to our office regardless of which program you end up applying for. We are also going to be the local contact here in the United States for anybody who's interested in applying to scholarships beyond the Diversity Abroad Israel Scholarship. And at the end of this presentation, you'll get the contact details for Yael Lebedinsky. She is our financial aid manager, and she'll be the person with whom you can be directly in touch if you'd like to learn more about opportunities beyond Diversity Abroad Scholarship for both summer, semester, and year-long students. Back to you.
I think that a general message that we have at the Hebrew University is that we don't want the financial aspect to be the barrier for your decision. So do not give up. Try and look for any resource, and we'll help you out with our existing resources. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So Trixie, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Shahar and Carrie, for sharing all of those details about Hebrew University and what to expect about life in Jerusalem. I'm going to talk to you all now about the specific scholarship that we are excited to offer. It's new this year. As you can see, we have two different scholarship opportunities. One is for studying abroad this summer. We have 10 $5,000 scholarships to study with Hebrew University. And we also have scholarships for the fall semester as well. So for the fall semester, we have 5 $7,500 scholarships. You can see that they have different due dates. So hopefully by now you have thought about which semester works best for your schedule. If you're considering studying abroad in the summer, that application is coming up a little bit sooner. So just be mindful of that. Otherwise, if you will plan to study abroad in the fall, you have a few more weeks into mid-June that you can look into. Both applications are identical. So we would ask for your diversityabroad.com username. Diversityabroad.com, again, that's our student website, and joining is free. So all that we really require from you as an applicant for Diversity Abroad scholarships is that you join us and be part of our online community. So once you tell us your username, we also ask that you upload a copy of your acceptance letter from Hebrew University. And so you can see in bright red, we've written, please apply for the Hebrew University program first. We always get scholarship applications for students who kind of don't look too closely at what they're applying for and just see dollar signs. And I can completely understand the eagerness and the excitement, but we want to make sure that you know you're applying to study specifically at Hebrew University. So we ask for a copy of the acceptance letter. We spoke earlier about the application deadlines for that. So just make sure that you upload. It can be a photo, it can be a PDF. There's a lot of different ways that you can show us proof that you've applied to and been accepted into the Hebrew University. If you submitted your application and you haven't heard yet, you're welcome to submit proof that you've submitted your application, and then we can make sure to follow up with you to get a photocopy or a PDF of your actual acceptance letter once it comes through. So if you think you're in that pool and you're just worried about some of the timelines, just reach out. You'll get my email address at the end of the slideshow, and then you can let me know if you feel like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to make it in time. We still want you to apply for the scholarships, and we can definitely just double check some of those logistics after the fact. So Shahar mentioned this a little bit before, but just make sure you are currently enrolled at a U.S. institution. Your GPA is at 3.0, but certainly if you are hovering or close, I mean, just reach out to us again if you have questions, and we're happy to problem solve and see if you would still be eligible. And then you can, of course, be any major. So you don't have to be studying any given language, any given subject. All applicants are welcome. The last thing I'll say about this slide before we move forward is we do have 2 short essay questions. Again, if you think you're not sure which one you want to apply for, chat with us. It is the same application, and then they are short essays. So we'll talk a little bit later about what to write, or how to write rather, an award-winning essay and how to make your application stand out. But again, we want to know that you're applying specifically for this scholarship and for this program. So just keep that in mind as you read the questions and as you develop the answers for your essays. So moving forward to the next slide. As we're coming up with the next slide, I also wanted to bring up, somebody had asked a question if there was an age requirement or a credit requirement. So Shahar or Carrie, if either of you have comments about whether or not there are age requirements for students, and or if they have to be at least a freshman or have a certain number of credits in order to apply to attend Hebrew University, I think that would be really helpful for some of our listeners to know. So would either of you like to comment on that as we move forward in the slideshow?
Trixie, just to make sure, the question was how many credits they would need to come with in order to apply for Hebrew University?
Correct. I think the student was wondering if they need to have had already, a certain number of credits. For example, can they be a freshman and apply, or do they have to have a certain academic standing? And then the other question was the age question as well.
And we did mention that a full year of academic studies at a university is the minimum requirement for this. It's not there is a freshman program, but these scholarships are not intended for this crowd. So I would say sophomores and juniors and seniors could join.
Okay, great.
Does that answer the question?
Yes, excellent. So now that we have moved on to the slideshow, you can see some students might ask, how can I pay for the rest of my time during either a summer or a fall semester? So as we've both mentioned from Diversity Abroad and Hebrew University, respectively. We certainly don't want finances to be the reason that you choose not to pursue a global experience. So during this next section, we'll talk about some of the other ways you can find resources that will help you feel financially supported if you do decide to pursue an opportunity to go abroad, either with Hebrew University or just in general. So, let's see here. Funding options and scholarship tips. We'll kind of go through some of those. So first of all, if you have an existing financial aid package, just check with your school to see how much funding might potentially be able to go with you. Every school has its own policies about how much of your financial aid package that you already get can go with you on your study abroad program. So that's an appointment you'd want to set up just to ensure that you know if your entire financial aid package can come with you and be applied towards your semester abroad or some of your summer abroad, or if only certain scholarships and grants are eligible. Once you've factored that much in, there are a lot of other places where you can potentially find financial support. The Fund for Education Abroad, they specifically provide funding for students that are underrepresented in study abroad. So definitely make sure to check them out. I think their applications for this coming summer and fall have already closed. But if you are listening to this webinar and you're thinking, oh, I just kind of want to learn a little bit more and maybe apply for a future semester, that's certainly understandable. And you can click that link and we'll make sure to make all of these links available to you. But that's one of those resources that you can definitely check out. They'll give you a minimum of $5,000 potentially for the summer, and then even more depending on the semester during which you'll go abroad. We have something called a Diversity Abroad Overseas Ambassador Program. It's $500, and that's only for fall or spring semesters. But Diversity Abroad Overseas Ambassadors represent our organization's mission and work during their study abroad programs abroad. So you don't have, there is no quote unquote diversity abroad program. We don't produce any programs overseas. We support providers and programs like those at Hebrew University. So you can be going, you can go abroad on any program in the fall or the spring and submit an application to be an overseas ambassador. So that application we have is open currently, and it's still accepting applications for the fall semester, and that closes on June 1st. We have a planning scholarship that is $1,500. For here, it says for fall 2018. So I just want to clarify what this scholarship is and how the timing of it works, because it's a little unique. So the Diversity Abroad Planning Scholarship is only ever available for students who are interested in studying abroad during the fall semester. So unfortunately, we don't have it open right now for any spring programs. That said, it's also only open for students about a year in advance. So for example, fall 2017, this upcoming fall, those scholarship recipients were already selected last fall during the 2016 fall semester. So this coming fall, we will open up our applications again in September for students interested in applying to study abroad during the fall 2018 semester. So why do we do that so far in advance? Well, it's the planning scholarship. And the idea with the planning scholarship is that we provide additional support, advising, and funding as you decide which program you want to choose to go abroad on. So some students apply saying, I know I want to go abroad, but I'm not sure where or how to choose a program or how to even start that process. That's what the planning scholarship is helping you to do, is to make some of those decisions and find what works best for you. The $1,500 is also something that we give you to help cover a lot of the upfront costs that you might potentially pay out of pocket. So if that includes buying the flight, getting a passport if you don't have one, getting some immunization shots if you need to get those depending on where you go. So that's another opportunity. So again, if you are listening and you're thinking, oh, summer and fall this semester feels a little too soon, but I'm definitely interested in going abroad next year, hold on tight to that link and we'll share that one as well in the follow-up email so that you can submit an application for the planning scholarship. There's also a list here that's provided through the State Department. It's a list of different scholarships and grants. So check that out. Anything that is available through your school, your department. We'll go through some of those as well. But the last thing on this screen specifically that I want to point out is as you're applying for this specific scholarship that we offer, the Diversity Abroad Israel Scholarships, keep in mind that even if you don't receive either one of those, you can still potentially get up to $1,000 for the summer or up to $3,000 for the semester when you're going to the Rothberg International School. So I'm going to include a link here in the chat box you all should have gotten, and that's the direct link to the Rothberg Student Financial Services website. So you can click there, you'll see some need and merit-based scholarships that are available to you as an applicant. As we move on to the next slide, I see we have a question here that says, will there be additional scholarships available in spring 2018? I believe so, and we can definitely have some of those. We'll have some of those resources available for applications for the spring semester with Diversity Abroad typically open at the end of summer, early fall. So check back in late August, early September for a spring 2018 application. Moving on, additional funding resources. So funding and crowdsourcing. Or fundraising rather, and crowdsourcing. This is definitely something that with the advent of the internet and having unlimited access to different resources and friends, this is something that we certainly encourage. I know I've met students who have raised up to $2,000 to go abroad, and it certainly doesn't hurt to try. So if you make a page, you make it really easy for friends and family to donate. This is something that you can send to people in your community, family members across the world, across the country, old coaches or music band teachers, whatever you were into leading up to where you are now. Studying abroad is a very unique experience. Less than 2% of college students in the United States do it. So really be mindful that you're putting yourself in a unique position and really sell that to your, quote unquote, sell that to your family and to your friends, that this is something new. This is something exciting. Not everyone does it. And this is really setting you up for success and to build specific skill sets that will help you thrive in your career. Be really mindful of that language that you use. And I'm sure anybody that you reach out to will be more than willing to share $10, $20, whatever they're able to. So use that to your full advantage for sure. And then good old saving up and working. If you are a work study student or you're working now, or maybe you're working through the summer, be mindful. And we have some resources on Diversity Abroad about how to develop budgets to help you know how to be mindful about what you're saving up and how you can spend more wisely. So that's certainly something that we encourage students to start doing now. I think as adults, I could definitely be a better budgeter. So that's a lifelong skill that if you can develop as you're planning to go abroad or even while you're in country overseas, I think you'll find to be very, very valuable. So moving on to the next slide. Scholarship writing tips. We actually did a webinar on this topic back in February. So again, there's a link at the bottom here, and I'll make sure to send that out with everybody in the follow-up email. But these are just a few tips that we've developed at Diversity Abroad so that as you submit your application, you know you're submitting the best possible application you can. So definitely make sure that you are telling us your story. We want to know that we're choosing you as our scholarship recipient. So what is it about you that we should know about? What is it about you that makes you the perfect fit for this scholarship? Be really intentional. Make sure you know which scholarship you're applying to, because we've definitely gotten applications that are very vague and not specific, and I can't tell if they're writing to us or it's just another copy and paste essay. So certainly take the time if you really want a scholarship, and this scholarship in particular, to tell us that you are really looking forward to receiving this scholarship specifically. Make sure that we understand why and how this connects back to your personal, academic, or professional goals. It's great for us to know that we are investing in you and your future. So the more clearly you can illustrate that in your scholarship essays, the more we can be mindful about whether or not you are the best choice for the scholarship. Know your audience, right? We're Diversity Abroad. We're partnering with Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Knowing what the question prompt is, why should we invest in you? That's really the question, right? So really advocate for yourself and tell us why you should be chosen. Discussing program specifics also is really helpful because that just says to us that you've done your research. We know you're not applying for a scholarship that you could use maybe in Hebrew, maybe in London, maybe in Australia, maybe for the summer. You're very specific, and we know that. But also avoid cliches and talking about travel. So travel is not a dirty word in study abroad, but it certainly gives us the impression that you're interested in vacation and less in the academics. So keep in mind, you are still studying abroad, right? The study part in study abroad is still very relevant. You're getting academic credit. This is something you can talk about in a resume or a job interview. And so be really intentional with the language that you use. And finally, giving a few words of thanks never hurts. So that's certainly something that if you have the word count to spare, will go a long way. So as we move forward to the next slide, I can see that there are a couple of questions coming in. So let me go through some of these next steps and then I'll get to some of the questions. So we can try to go back. So number one, research if Hebrew University of Jerusalem is right for you. Maybe it's right, but maybe it's not right now. Click on some of the links that we've provided. See if it's something that you're prepared to jump into, that you're excited to pursue. And if it is the right fit, then set up a time to talk with your school study abroad or academic advisor. You may or may not have a study abroad office at your school. And if that's the case, there certainly should be somebody at your school, potentially your academic advisor, that you can talk through if this is a program that you want to pursue, and so that they can help you to make sure you take all the necessary steps to submit everything fully and to know that the credits you would be earning during this program will be accredited towards your degree program. Make sure you, of course, submit your applications. So like we mentioned in a previous slide, we want to make sure that you know you're applying for Hebrew University specifically. So part of your scholarship application is the application proof, the letter that you've received, that you've been accepted to study at Hebrew University. Once you've submitted your application for both Hebrew University as well as the scholarship itself, then you can start to plan and just start saving up. We have upcoming webinars all the time, and so we try to give different tools and tips for that. So we highly encourage you all to consider looking into some of those as well. We usually announce those the month prior, so stay tuned in early May when we announce what our theme is for the following month. And then, of course, preparing for your adventure abroad. Studying abroad is fun. If you've never left the country or you've never left home or your comfort zone, it's a great way to see the world, to challenge yourself, to do something with a bunch of other young people that are in the same place in their lives as you. And you'll push each other, you'll challenge each other, you'll make friends for life. Studying abroad is fun. So definitely make sure that if it's something you want to make happen, hopefully this webinar and the scholarship specifically can be one of the ways in which you can achieve that goal. So I think the next slide is just questions. So we have a question here that says, I've researched studying abroad in Israel and read that Israel is more academically rigorous compared to here in the US. Is that true? I don't know if Carrie or Shahar might be interested in answering that question.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think that it's pretty comparable. It depends on the level of course that you choose. We give courses at different levels. So you can take an introductory course and that won't be as difficult, or you can take an advanced course and there you might be challenged a little more. And we find the students manage to maintain their GPA and usually the GPA is not damaged from study abroad. Our advisors will help you choose the right academic fit for your needs. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. If you're looking for very rigorous courses, you'll find them. If you're looking for something that is a more introductory, then we can help you out with that also.
Great. Thanks, Shahar. I think we also had another question. Hold on one second. How many students study abroad annually? Maybe you can say specifically at Rothberg. And maybe if you have a breakdown as well about some of the different countries from which students are coming from, that would actually be really cool to hear as well.
Okay, so just talk about the semester program. We have about 200 international students each semester at the undergraduate level. I would say that about 60%, maybe 66, two-thirds, are from North America. Another 25% or maybe 20% are European, and then another 10-15% are Asian. So that's about the mix. You will get South America here and there. You'll get students from all kinds of locations. Very, very, very international atmosphere, very diverse atmosphere, and you find the students like they explore each other just as much as they explore the city and the country and the Middle East. They also just enjoy meeting people from all different places and all different cultures. So that's there, and yeah, I think that's enough for that.
Thanks, Shar.
No
We
problem.
have another question that says, is the Diversity Abroad Scholarship open to gap year students who will be studying at Rothberg? That is a good question. Shahar, I don't know if you have any particular thoughts on that.
So
I don't think it
so
is, but go ahead, please.
Kerry, if you want to correct me, from my knowledge, I'll just say that the diversity scholarships are handed out by the New York office, so Kerry can correct me. But from my understanding, at the moment, it's not a gap year option. It's an option only for students that have completed at least 1 year of academic studies. There are gap year scholarships. Talk to us about it, and we'll help you out with that.
That's correct. Just to add to that, I will say that, this is a very exciting year for us because this is essentially the 27-18 academic year is going to be the launching of the scholarship, starting with the summer scholarships that will be dispersing in the next few months. And for this pilot year, we are targeting a population of sophomore, junior, and seniors, essentially students of upper standing. If you are on this call and you are going to be a gap year participant in our program, then I, as Shachar said, encourage you to be in touch with Yael, whose details you will get at the end of this call, at the end of this webinar. We absolutely have funding, and that goes for everybody on this call. If you aren't awarded the Diversity Abroad Scholarship and you really want to make this happen, we are here. We have a tremendous amount of support to offer, and we will help you find a way to come, regardless of what program you're coming on, whether you're a gap year participant or an upperstanding student. Talk to us. Don't be deterred. Don't just draw the conclusion that you don't have the funds to come and look elsewhere. Okay?
Thank you both for that. I think we have one last question and then we'll wrap it up. What is a unique on-campus event that you host? I guess they're asking if you have big name speakers that have come through campus, maybe something notable that you would like to share.
I'm not sure that I do understand the question, but first of all, in terms of famous speakers, I don't know if you guys follow like the academic world today, what's going on, but Yuval Noah Harari, that wrote the book *Sapiens*, is a Hebrew University professor, and of course that's very hard to hear him speak if you don't come to the Hebrew University, and if you do, you'll have the chance. He gives these kinds of lectures. There's all kinds of rock concerts on campus. There's a special student day that's just no school and everyone is partying, and events, and on the holidays there's always activities going on. There's a market every Tuesday on campus. So there's tons of special activities going on campus, and you'll have too much to choose from, and that's usually the problem, that students just try to get everything at once, and you're going to have to choose what not to go to, not the other way around. So don't worry about getting bored, if that's your concern.
Great.
I hope I answered the question.
I think you did. I think you did, Char. Thank you. So if that's the last question, we'll put up our final slide, our last few slides rather. You'll get to see how you can stay in touch with us. So you can find diversityabroad.com online. Follow us on Instagram. We always post updates and reminders for webinars and other scholarship application deadlines. And you can head over to Hebrew University's website as well, so you can see some more photos that they share, as well as other updates directly from their campus. Finally, you can see we will provide you with our contact information. So again, if you have any questions about the applications, you can contact Shahar. He's Israel-based, so just keep that in mind when you consider the timeline and when you're reaching out to folks. Yael, as Carrie mentioned, she is New York-based, so if you have any questions, you can reach her as well about scholarships and funding and other application questions. And then if you have a question specifically about diversity abroad, feel free to contact me. I'm also here in the US. I'm just on Pacific Standard Time. So with that, I'll include all of this contact information in the email as well. So thank you everybody for joining us. You will receive a copy of this recording along with the various links and the handouts that have been attached. But thank you to my co-presenters, Carrie and Shahar, for joining us. And we hope to see you submit your applications for our scholarship and for Hebrew University soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Okay,
everyone.
bye bye. See you in Israel.